Yo, what's up? It's the late night fantasy goodies with your guys. Rick Kamla, FSWA Hall of Famer, Steve Alexander, aka Dr. right here on a Monday night. We're cranking up a new week of fantasy basketball. We've got the goodies for you. We've got must-add players. We're going to break down tonight's slate. We're going to look ahead to tomorrow's slate. We invite your questions. We're going to answer them later on in the show. All right, so get them in here, whether it's on Discord. And before we tip things off, here's a word from our sponsor, Bet Online. They are the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action. They give you the ability to watch the games as they happen and monetize these games as they happen. They got the largest selection of odds, everything from football, pro, and college, NBA, college basketball, NHL, UFC, MMA. Head to Bet Online today, all right? Bet Online. Get there today and get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering, Bet Online. The game starts here. It is Rick and Doc. And Doc, go first, man. We always tip off the show with our Magic Men of the night. We have Sacramento up 3 on Atlanta. We have the Clippers up 5 on Golden State. A couple of good late night games for us to peruse here. But who's your Magic Man of the night so far?
Because this is not on television and there's nobody who tells me I can't do it, I have 3. And they're all big, sloppy centers that are the opposite of sexy. Justin Timberlake was here last night in Atlanta. And even JT can't bring sexy back for these guys. We got Vucevic, 11 of 18, 29 points, 12 boards, 3 assists, 3 blocks, 6 triples. We got Jakob Poeltl, 13 of 18, 30 points, 15 boards, 2 steals, 2 blocks. And don't sleep on Poeltl. Nobody talks about Poeltl. He's been really good in Toronto. And then we got Brook Lopez, a.k.a. Brolo, 27 points, 10 boards, 3 steals, 4 blocks, 5 triples. Like, those 3 dudes did some work tonight.
I like it. Creative angle. I'm not sure how we of the transition to get us into that. But I like the Vooch call. I like the Poeltl call, and I like the Brook Lopez call. I'll have as we get into those games, I'll have maybe a take or two on those dudes as we move forward here. But I like the 3-headed monster at the Magic Men of the night for Doc. I just have a Magic Man, and I got creative here too. We don't have a 50 tonight, a 60 tonight yet. We don't have like one of these, oh my God, stat lines. It's frankly been a little bit of a dull night in the NBA. Okay, so we're trying to bring some life to this right now. But I got Fred VanVleet, okay? And it's because, I want to make a point here, and I'm excited about how he's playing, because Fred VanVleet, at the beginning of the year, we're talking about 12, 13, 14 points. Like, what is that? Now, VanVleet's got to be at least, Doc, for me to be content with VanVleet, where I took him and what I've invested in, I need 17 PPG. I need at least 4 boards. I need at least 6 assists. I need at least a steal and a half. I need at least 2.5 threes, okay? And so we're starting to get that VanVleet right now. Tonight, he had 26, 6 and 5, a block, a steal, 3 threes. Over the last week, he's gone 26 and 7, 3 threes, 2 steals. So, Doc, sometimes guys just the alarm goes off a little bit later. Okay, we're all up at 8:30 and they're sleeping until 10. I don't know where a lot of these slow starts come from. But you just talked about Brook Lopez, Doc. He got off to a slow start. Now he's killing it with or without Damian Lillard. And some guys just got to get it cranked up. And I guess they do have in common the fact that they're both veterans. But Fred VanVleet's my call here for my Magic Man of the night.
I like it. Also, we're going to get to this game, and you're probably going to call this game. But Keon Ellis has 9 3-pointers and 28 points for the Kings. That's spectacular. And I'm sure Aaron Brewski, our coworker, could not be happier to see that. And yeah, that's all I got. You're muted.
We're going to keep you abreast of what's going on here with Clippers and Warriors and Hawks and Kings. But I'll just give you some observations, and Doc will as well. But let's dive into these games and break them down, because we break down every single game. We at least touch on every single game that is out there. And I do want to remind you guys to join us on Discord. All right. Drop your questions there as you follow us, watch us, and hang out with us on Discord. We will take some of the time at the end of this episode and in each episode to answer as many questions as we can. So if you're listening to this episode on the podcast feed, you can find our Discord link in the description. If you're tuning in live, the link is in the live chat comments. All right. Chicago at Detroit, Doc. You mentioned Vucevic, and Chicago beat the Pistons tonight. Vucevic is playing like a league winner. You took Vucevic, Doc, I don't know, 4th, 5th round, wherever people took him, okay? He's giving 11th overall value right now, end of the first round value. You mentioned his stat line here tonight. His stat line on the season has been fat. He got off to a great start. This might have been his best game of the year with the 3 blocks and the 6 threes. So he's just keeping it rolling, and it's not a sell high. Don't sell high, okay? Chicago is Billy Donovan's not going to like, oh, yeah, let's get our Cooper flag on. They've got too much talent to get their Cooper flag on. So they're going to try to make the play-in tournament. Vooch is going to be playing all the way to the end. And so that, you talked about Vucevic a little bit. And then, Doc, I want to hit the ball back over the net to you with a little Jalen Duren, all right? And it's about time, okay? We're about a month into the season. Hello. When are you going to ring the bell, young man? 15, 22, 3 assists, 2 blocks. Finally, coming into the game, he was averaging 8 points and 9 rebounds, Doc. So Jalen Duren owed his fantasy managers this ball game here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he's been so quiet. Like, where is Jalen Duren why is he not on SportsCenter? Why are we not seeing highlights? It finally happened tonight. He's starting to come on a little bit. And hopefully, there's no reason that Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham should not be double-double guys every single night.
And Cade Cunningham was spectacular again tonight. He really was for the Detroit Pistons in a loss. Doc, you go first here on Washington and New York, man. What caught your eye on this game? Obviously, a runaway victory for the New York Knicks. Pretty dull basketball game, honestly, my friend. But any fantasy spins or takeaways from this one for you?
I liked seeing Bub score 18 points. Corey Kispert is kind of one of my guys. He had 18 points. Well, Jordan Poole, man, you're in the Garden. Like, you should be doing stuff like Trey and Reggie and Stephon Marbury. Like, guys love to go to the Garden and go off. Like, 7 shots for Jordan Poole, just awful. The Knicks blew him out of the gym, so none of this really matters. Props to Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson for staying in long enough to get their double-doubles in a blowout.
I like that. So you mentioned that you were disappointed with Jordan Poole. I get it, Doc. I look, he had been good in his previous games, right? It's not like he's all of a sudden hit a thud and he's like just sucking. Okay, tonight he sucked. He's not. I mean, and his recent games have been very good. His overall ranking this year has been very good. The problem tonight is, the inspiration of Madison Square Garden is there, but when you have the blankets, otherwise known as OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, pounding your butt the whole game, it's hard to score. It's hard to even get off shots. That's why the shot total was low, in my opinion. Cat and Brunson combined for 50 tonight. They both had terrific games. But I want to give a shout out to OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby has been quietly really, really solid. All right. And he's a lot, you don't really go after OG because he's not a huge PRA guy, right? Not really big in the rebounds, very, very light in the assists. He's a fantasy gold guy. He gives you threes, he gives you steals at a very high rate. Okay. But because he's not a PRA guy, he slips in drafts. OG Anunoby is giving 40th overall value right now. 40th. Okay. End of 3rd round, beginning of 4th round. Like, none of us are taking OG there, but I'm just giving you the idea of how valuable he has been. Tonight, he was 16, 5, and 2. All right, 2 steals and 1 3. But on the year, he's going 17, 5, and 2, 2.1 threes, 1.4 steals. He's just been really quietly solid, Doc, for the New York Knicks. We move on to Indiana and Toronto. The Raptors beat the injury-hit Pacers tonight. Really horrible loss for Indiana. I don't care how many guys are out of the lineup for them. I mean, Toronto doesn't have Quickly and Barnes. Hello? RJ Barrett, Doc. We haven't talked a lot about him. Let's shine the light on him right now. 39 tonight, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 13 of 21 from the floor, 4 bombs. And on the season, he's going 23, 6, and 6. That is by far the fattest stat line of RJ Barrett's career. It's not even close. 23, 6, and 6, 2.1 threes, almost a steal per game. All right, and obviously no Quickly, no Barnes, okay, more shots and all that kind of stuff. I get it, but Doc, it is fun to see RJ Barrett emerge like this. And right now, looking like the best dude on that Duke team when they had Zion and they had Reddish and they had RJ Barrett. I mean, he's on the court, okay, and he's playing very, very well this year, man.
Yeah, I've always kind of been a low-key RJ guy. And if you play in a points league, like there's nothing wrong with RJ Barrett. The problem is a lot of us don't. And the 5 turnovers tonight, the 0 steals, the 0 blocks. I mean, that's just what he does. But he had a great game tonight. Rick, serious question. Worst loss for the Pacers or the Raptors, who are trying to get Cooper Flag? You have tanked in dynasty leagues before. You know how hard it is to lose all the time. Sometimes you screw up and accidentally win.
That's why in the league where they robbed me of Wembanyama, I just went ahead and started taking dudes off the floor. Like I started, dude, that year, and this is probably why I changed the rule. You remember I had Carmelo Anthony on my team the whole year, okay? He was retired. He didn't play, and Carmelo was always in my starting 5, because I wanted to ensure that I had no stats, and I won Wemby, and I won Wemby, or I lost Wemby. And then they stole Wemby from me, and then I had to say goodbye to the league. And actually, I'm giving the deuces sign right now. You could actually flip it around, and I won't drop the index finger. Okay, all right. It is Ethos After Dark, Fantasy NBA today. He's Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. I'm Rick Kamla, and we're having fun giving you guys the late night goodies. Under a minute to go here. Hawks up 3 on the Sacramento Kings, 109-106. I was looking at Doc here. I just peeked up just a turnover by Atlanta. So let me give the people this possession. Here's Fox coming downhill, confronted by 2 defenders. Still keeps the dribble alive, trying to turn the corner, and they got a bump way out high here, 49.4 on your boy, Garrison Matthews. Doc, anything else on Indiana and Toronto, or do you want to move on here to Houston and Milwaukee?
It was just interesting and good to see Obi Toppin play meaningful minutes, a lot of them, because Miles Turner was out. Enrique Freeman was in the starting lineup. Jarris Walker made an appearance. But it was all about Obi Toppin. And then shout out to Benedict Mathurin, who has been outstanding lately.
He has, Doc. There's no doubt about that. Enrique Freeman. Okay, that's where we're going. That's how deep we're going on our roster right now. Yes, Keon Ellis is everywhere. He's omnipotent. He's hitting free throws. He just went bang, bang off of that foul. 1-point game right now. Atlanta up 1 on Sacramento. About 45 seconds left. Trae Young with the rock crossing the timeline. And he's got the man of the night, Keon Ellis, on him. And the crowd rises to their feet, including Aaron Bruschi out there in Northern California. Shot clock winding down to 5, 9-1-1 ball to, I guess that was Risache. Actually, that was Dyson Daniels' ball out of bounds. Last touched by. They're going to have to review it. Anyway, all right, so Houston and Milwaukee, Doc. Damian Lillard comes back, missed 3 games with the concussion. Didn't play well. He didn't shoot the ball well. You mentioned him earlier, and I want to spend just a little bit of time here talking about Brook Lopez. As you said, a.k.a. Barolo. It looked like that ball was last touched by DeAndre Hunter. We shall see. I think Sacramento's going to get an opportunity here to take the lead. Brooke Lopez tonight was sensational. 27 and 10, 1 assist, 4 blocks, 3 steals, 5 threes. Doc, he had 12 fantasy gold goodies. 12. Okay. That's insanity. Like, there's like 5 or 7 guys in the world, Doc, who can do that. 4 blocks, 3 steals, 5 threes. Like, can Porzingis even do that when he's healthy? I don't know, dude. Brolo's a great player, man. We love him over here. Doc's heavily invested in him. I'm heavily invested in him. All right, one more look here. Herter got the ball over the top. That's a tough call by the refs. It looked like out on Hunter, but Doc, the key here with Brooke Lopez is that we were joking, when Damian Lillard went out, Brooke Lopez took off. Okay. Well, Dame came back tonight and Brolo still had 27 and 10 with all these goodies, man. So I think we can chalk up the Brooke Lopez thing to a slow start here, Doc.
I think it comes down to if he's shooting the ball well, not ironically, his numbers are awesome. If he's not hitting shots, everything else goes to crap. So the game before this one, he only hit 2 of 7 shots and had 5 points against Charlotte, of all people, of all teams. But, he's had 27, 29, and 13 in 3 of his last 4. 2 of his last 3 have been awesome. And you're right. I mean, the game before that, so he went 27 and 10 with 4 blocks and 3 steals tonight. 5-3, 1 block, 1 steal the game before. But the game before that was 29 points, 8 boards, 3 steals, 5 blocks, 5 triples. Same as tonight. Like, those are amazing numbers.
They are. Dyson Daniels, Doc, is headed to the all-defensive team. He just won the game on the defensive end. The Hawks missed, and Dyson Daniels just got a dig down on De'Aaron Fox. He was dribbling into a double team with Hunter and Daniels, but trying to separate for a fadeaway midi from the left baseline. And it was going to be a pretty good look. But Dyson Daniels, he didn't go up. He went down. He digged down right on the upward motion of De'Aaron Fox, knocked the ball away, got the loose ball, saved it inbounds to a Hawks game over. Dude, Dyson Daniels is one of the stories of the year in the NBA, Doc. And I absolutely crushed the Atlanta Hawks for making that trade, giving up DeJounte Murray to the Pelicans for Dyson Daniels, Larry Nance, EJ Liddell, and I think it was 2 first-round picks. And I'll still die on that hill. That's not enough for DeJounte Murray, who I put on a very, very high pedestal. But I will say this, Doc. Landry Fields, and I think Kyle Korver's in that front office as well. They did target Dyson Daniels, right? And they picked him, and he's why they made that trade. And so again, I got the Pelicans still winning that deal, but I do have to give that front office credit because Dyson Daniels has surprised me. He's been sensational, and right now he's a first or second team all defensive guy, dude, for sure.
Well, not only that, he might be the most improved player in the league, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's scoring, he's stealing. He's doing everything. Like right now, he's the fantasy. He was not the fantasy waiver wire pickup because he was drafted in a lot of leagues, but he's at least the sleeper pick. He's been incredible. Every night, it's like 6 steals, 5 steals. And then, I faded him tonight before I knew Jalen Johnson was out, which I'm still not really over that one because I was busy 5 minutes before the game started. But Dyson Daniels has been as good as any other fantasy player out there outside of the top 10. He's been amazing.
He's been absolutely amazing.
I was worried about Bogey. I was worried about Bogey coming back and buzzkilling him. Didn't happen.
So let's talk about that game a little bit. It just went final. All right. And a lot of fantasy goodies in this one. The final was 109-108 Atlanta over Sacramento. Reece Sachet was very good tonight. 18, 2 steals, 1 block, 3 threes. That kid continues to grow on me. Capella had a fat 14-14 double-double in 28 minutes. Trae Young was awful, okay? He had 7 points. He did have 19 assists, but he was 1 of 7. He had Keon Ellis on him tonight, so he had to change his game. They did win, though. I got to give him credit for that. Dyson Daniels line, Doc. He had 14 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. They gave him a block on that play, not a steal. So he had 4 blocks. Weirdly, no steals, 2 3 balls, 24. Oh my God, 24 off the bench for DeAndre Hunter, who made, I believe, his return tonight. He either came back the previous game. I think tonight was his first game back. 9 of 15, 4 of 8 on threes, 24 points. And Doc, DeAndre Hunter was absolutely terrific in the 3 or 5 games at the very beginning of the season. Then he had the injury. Now he's come back. DeAndre Hunter, every time he's been on the court this year, he's been balling at a very high level. What stands out from the Hawks side of that win for you?
Jalen Johnson was out. That's why we got a full dose of DeAndre Hunter, because he got all that stuff that Jalen Johnson does. So, and we don't know what's up with Jalen Johnson, or at least I don't. I haven't seen any new updates, but he was ruled out like 10 minutes before the game tipped, and a lot of us got stuck with him in various places that I still haven't recovered from.
I was able to pick up DeAndre Hunter in Cam Dynasty. I have Jalen Johnson at like 10:08 Eastern. 10:10 obviously is when the late night joint starts. So I was able to make that move, and pretty psyched to see. It's the battle for first place right now in the Cam Dynasty. The great Paul Charchian, one of the goats of fantasy football, he co-owns a team with a man named Randy Shaver, who is like a 30-year sports television anchor on the NBC station in Minneapolis. They co-own a team. I go way back with those guys. They are in first place by like a half game over me, and it's a battle for first place. And as we speak, I am cranking them. Just cranking them. It's like 6-2 right now, and I plan on putting the beat down on them.
Since we're talking about our leagues, nice comeback in 30. Like, you went from down low to like top 4, I think, in our division.
Dude, I had one bad week. It was the week I lost Zach LaVine. And that's how it is in 30 deep. I mean, you lose your second best player, and you lose it's like a 2-7 and a 4-5. Okay, now boom, my ship is taken on water. I think my power ranking is back to 6th overall in a 30-team league after last week. So, Doc, like this week, I'm going without Kessler. I'm going without Isaiah Joe. I'm going without Jordan Hawkins. Like, these are like main dudes for me. Okay, I'm starting Blake effing Wesley. Nobody on planet Earth is starting Blake Wesley on their weekly lame fantasy team. But I have I couldn't even go with my boy Usman Jang, Doc, because the minutes just aren't there. My boy Usman Jang just is not getting the minutes, bro.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Hey, how about Joel Embiid being, well, I guess we're going to get to that, being doubtful tonight. And then he played. Like, I've never seen anything like that happen before. If you're doubtful, you are not playing. Like, I've seen like 2 guys in the history of my almost 25 years covering this league, 2 doubtful guys actually turn around and play that night. And they were Warriors. This is Joel Embiid, dude. Doubtful tag. And he's like, screw it. I'm playing. And of course I had Andre Drummond in my 30 deep lineup because I thought Joel Embiid was out.
But look, my take on Embiid here is we shift to Philadelphia and Miami. All right, Miami trucked them tonight. Philadelphia is a dumpster fire. Doc, I'm worried about Joel Embiid. All right. I know that, he was ill or whatever tonight and that kind of thing, and had a lame stat line. But in 3 games back, you're going to have to wait on this a minute, folks. In 3 games back, he's gone 13 points, 20 points, 11 points. Like, there's waiver wire guys that have that stat line. His rebounds have gone 3, 8, 8. Hasn't even approached 10 rebounds yet. We saw him this summer with USA basketball, and he was rickety. He was overweight, not effective. He did have a good game in the Jokic game, all right? Remember the second to last game? He played really well. But, Doc, here's the thing with Embiid. We told you to fade him, or at least I did. And Doc, I'm pretty sure that you were off of Embiid and don't have a lot of shares of him.
I was the opposite of on Embiid. Like, I was so far off. Screaming from the rooftops.
Yeah, so hopefully, you guys took our advice with that, and we're not trying to sound smart, but I mean, it is what it is. And here's the big point for you, okay? If you can still sell high with Joel Embiid, do it. Maybe there's a guy from Philly in your league, okay? Because here's why. In your first year after surgery and a big surgery like this, what do they always say? Oh, it's the second year off the surgery. He'll be that much better this year. That first year back is funky. It involves maintenance. It involves rust. It involves your body reacclimating to its new bionic ways. And it doesn't matter if it's football, baseball, not so much. But if it's basketball or football, a lot of the movement, quick twitch, lateral movement sports, it takes that year to get your body back. And Joel Embiid clearly does not have his body back. So if you have Joel Embiid, Doc, I think this is just not the year to frickin' have him. Okay? He's not going to average 34 points a game with 11 rebounds and 5 assists and 1.7 blocks and 1.2 steals. He ain't going to get there, I don't think. You tell me, do you think eventually Joel Embiid will get humming at that level, or do you just think this is not the year to have Joel Embiid?
I don't think it's the year to have Joel Embiid at all. Not to mention everything that you just said is true. But we've also seen the emergence of Jared McCain, right? And then Paul George is eventually going to catch fire and start doing stuff for this team. And then you got Tyrese Maxey, who happens to be out injured right now. But there's not going to be as many shots for Embiid to begin with. And then you add in, he's not going to play in back-to-backs. He's going to be hurt more than he's healthy, probably. I want no part of him. And I think you're right. The fact that Embiid played tonight, let him play in the next one and then start floating offers and see what you can get.
And just lastly here, Doc, it is time to sell high with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler went off tonight, folks. Sell high right now. Send some offers out, okay? He was 30, 10, and 5. On the season, he's 16, 5, and 5. 16, 5, and 5 for Jimmy Butler. And so it's just it's a sarcastic take, but there's truth in all sarcasm. Legit, sell high with Jimmy Butler before he misses another week with some damn soft tissue injury.
I couldn't agree more. The only player I was as down on as Joel Embiid was Jimmy Butler. And here they are playing each other on a Monday night.
That was Doc's favorite player bowl down in Miami tonight. Here's Harden shaking and baking on Curry. Passes to the corner. Terrence Mann, 3-ball. The Clippers go back up 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Curry back for GSW. He comes off a green screen. Back to Draymond Green, who drives on Zubac. Blocked by Zoo. All right, I'm done. All right, Doc, let's talk about Orlando and Phoenix. It is Ethos After Dark, Fantasy NBA today. Rick Kamla and Steve Alexander, a.k.a. Dr. A. Draymond coming downhill on Harden, gets the elbows up into his face, misses the floater, but he's fouled. Doc, Orlando went into Phoenix tonight. No Kevin Durant and no Bradley Beal and no Yusuf Nurkic. Okay, I get all of that. Orlando still does not have Paula Banchero. Doc, we got to talk about Franz Wagner, man. Dude, the lines just keep coming every night. He had 32, 5, and 8 tonight. My man had 8 assists tonight. Orlando keeps on winning, Doc, okay? I know that Phoenix is shorthanded, But we've talked about Orlando. They're not a good road team. They are exceptionally dominant at home, okay? They're like 2-6 on the road this year, okay? And they win in Phoenix. To me, that's a good win for a Paulo-less Magic team, even if Phoenix is shorthanded. So Orlando, all of a sudden, Doc, is 9-6. They're winning consistently without Paulo Banchero. I think it's a hell of a story, and Franz Wagner deserves a ton of credit. Dude, he is playing like an absolute all-star this year.
Yeah, and I was on Franz Wagner coming
You
in.
were. I was not. Remember, I was giving you crap about it.
Yeah.
You were so right about Franz, dude.
And he played well in the Olympics, shot him much better. We've seen him in the past be good. Last year was just rough. I don't know what the problem was. But yeah, he was awesome tonight. Goga Batadze, 17-10. You know what I think sets Orlando apart from some of these other teams is I feel like they play really good defense.
That's it.
Like they are a good defensive team. And yeah, they got low-hanging fruit tonight with no Kevin Durant and shocker, Bradley Beal for the Suns. But the Hawks just beat the Kings without Jalen Johnson. The low-hanging fruit is not always that low-hanging.
And not always that tasty. Doc, a quick chat here on Devin Booker. Is that Lindy Waters? I mean, Lindy Waters just banged a huge clutch corner three, Doc, on a kick-out feed from Curry.
Starting. He starts for them. It's crazy.
Crazy. Over Kuminga, by the way. 4-point lead for the Clippers. Norman Powell, yes! 3-ball, top of the key, 7-point lead. Doc, he left the game earlier with a hamstring injury, and I was like, uh-oh. And he's back in, hitting big threes. Timeout Golden State.
Dude, if Norman Powell went down with a hamstring injury, my 30-deep team would be, you know what? We'd be done. Toast.
I don't want your 30-deep team to be doo-doo, Doc. I don't want there to be a doo-doo factor on your team unless or until I'm playing against you in the championship round. And then if your team wants to dissolve into doo-doo, go right ahead. I will not provide you. I can't think of the product, and it doesn't matter. Doc, Devin Booker's in a weird stretch here. He had 44 in the previous game, all right? Took off, had a huge game. He had 17 tonight on 5 of 14. He had in the teens in the previous 2 games before the 44. He has been sub 20, Doc, in 3 of the last 4 games. And, you know, you have no Durant, you have no Beal, but I'm used to a Devin Booker who, like, all right, it's got to crank up the dial a little bit here. And, like, he prints 30-point games. This is a weird stretch from Devin Booker, dude. It really is. Like, I'm kind of like, Book, you know what I'm saying, Doc? Like, he's a great, sensational future Hall of Fame player. Like, okay, no Durant, no Beal. He's got to be dialing up 30 every night, dude, and we're not getting that.
Well, there's two ways to look at it. Those guys are out, Beal and KD. So Booker, like, he started with guys named Dunn and Plumlee and Iguodaro and Jones. Like, the average NBA fan, if they don't pay that much attention, doesn't know who any of those guys are, right? So your mindset turns to Booker is going to do everything. And by the way, Royce O'Neal, 1 for 8. I just saw that. Like, that dude hasn't made a shot since I started hyping him 15 days ago. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. So Booker's either going to do everything or he's going to have 3 guys face guarding him all at the same time. Like, he's going to be triple teamed and shut down. And I think these defenses are just like, shut down Booker. We'll worry about the rest later.
I get it, Doc. I get it. Would that have kept Kobe down? No. Would that have kept Jordan down? No. Would that have kept Houston Harden down? No. Would that keep Luka Doncic down? No. Like, and I think Booker is in that caliber of player. It can't keep you down. I don't care. Triple teams, double, find a way, okay? Pass the ball, get off the ball, cut and move, get the ball back. That's what Steph Curry does when they're hounding him and trying to deny the ball with him. He gets off the ball, sprints, jukes, head and shoulder, gets the ball back, and now he's in a better position. I mean, but Booker's got to get this thing going, man. You can't just say, "Oh, okay, we don't have Durant and Beal. I'm going to suck. We're going to lose every game." That ain't going to get it done. Curry with a logo 3, Doc, and it's a 4-point game. 5:40 to go. And Steve Ballmer's beautiful into it. Don't. All right.
Hey,
go ahead.
I picked up Oso Ighodaro in our Sports Ethos 20-team league the other day, just because I needed a healthy guy. He had 12 points, 7 boards, 2 steals tonight, 32 minutes. Of course, Nurk was out, but Ighodaro might be a guy that you see emerge in the second half a little bit.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I still look at a team where you've got Nurkic and you've got Plumlee, and when Durant is healthy, they're trying to find time for Dunn. I'm not sure about sustainability there. I'm really not, but I understand what you're saying. He flashed a little bit tonight, had a good game. They're high on him in Phoenix. He did get the start. Take a look at him. Doc, in terms of the must-add player of the night, there's not a ton of activity tonight. A lot of nights we've got like 5 or 6 guys that we rank at the end of the night, and it just is what it is. Some nights are different than others. But in terms of the waiver wire, I just want to talk about a couple of guys. And I want to go back to the Rockets, Doc. And Ime Udoka has gone to a very, very fantasy-friendly and incredibly sexy 7-man rotation. You've got your regular starting 5. You know who they are, right? You're a hoop head, right? You don't need me to go through it. And then you basically got Tari Eason played 31 minutes tonight, and you've got Norman Powell just hit another ballsy 3, Doc. They're up 7, just under 5 to go. He's now at 20 points with 4 bombs. It's what Norman Powell does now. Here's Curry for 3. No, off the heel. Amen Thompson, 29 minutes tonight. Okay, so Tari Eason, who had a highlight reel mega blast tonight, 9 points, 14 rebounds, 3 blocks, 4 steals, 1 3. I love Tari Eason. Amen Thompson, 10 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, 1 block, 1 steal. So, Doc, I don't know what the percentages are in terms of rostered in Yahoo, but I would imagine that Eason and Amen are still available in a lot of Yahoo leagues. So that's my submission here for the must-add players of the night. And I just love the 7-man rotation. He's not worried about cranking up minutes for Reed Shepherd, not worried about cranking up minutes for Cam Whitmore or any of these other guys. He's just like, yo, these guys are versatile. They play a multitude of positions. I'm going to play them starter minutes. How good of a fantasy development is that for Tari Eason and Amen Thompson, dude?
Well, Eason is 48% rostered in Yahoo, which that is insane, right? He should be 100%. On the other hand, Amen Thompson is 77%. But you know what I find most interesting about this is when I watch those guys play, they're very similar. Like they're really good. And if I turned on the TV and you were sitting here watching Houston play with me and you said, "Hey, did you know that those are the Thompson twins? That's Amen and that's Saucer," I'd be like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. They play the same game." So they are sort of the Thompson twins to me. They're awesome.
What, Doc, they make such a difference off that bench. Look, and Houston had one
good.
They're my little team that could, bro. They had won 5 in a row heading into tonight. Damian Lillard got a late layup with about 3 seconds left. And then who missed they had a terrible inbound play. Fred VanVleet overthrew Alpi Şengün. He got the save, but couldn't get a shot off, and the game just ended. It was like a really brutal last possession for Houston. But they're rolling. They had won 5 in a row. They have a very good record, one of the top teams in the West, and I'm excited about them for sure. The Clippers.
What are we doing? What are we doing with Jabari Smith? Like, I think people were like, "Okay, I'm going to give him one more game, or I'm going to cut him." And then he went off like last Thursday, had a big game, and now it's back to 4 points, 2 boards, 1 assist, 25 minutes, 4 shots. Like Eason and Thompson are running him out of there. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, kinda. Because on the season, oh my God, you got to be kidding me, dude. Jabari Smith is
It's horrible.
0.4. He's 0.4 steals, 0.4 blocks. Ugh, ugh. You can't win with that. You can't think about a Yahoo League. Okay, you've got your starting lineup, and you've got 3 bench spots, and you've got, I think, 3 IRs. But Doc, if you have an 8-man bench, like my bench in the Cam Dynasty, hold Jabari Smith. If you're in a Yahoo League and you've got 3 bench spots, okay, and let's say maybe even you're in a 10-team league, which tends to be an all-star type of team, like waivers is very fertile in a 10-team league. Go ahead and cut him. Like go. I don't see a renaissance coming. I don't see. Oh man, this is just a slow start. I think other guys are rising and gaining favor with Ime Udoka, and he's losing favor with Ime Udoka. Guys, remember something. Ime Udoka does not care about your feelings. He also does not care where you were drafted. Okay, Jabari Smith, 2nd overall pick. I promise you, Ime Udoka doesn't. He would take a match to the sheet of paper that had that information on it. Just give me the lighter. There's your number 2 overall pick. What are you doing for me right now? Okay, that's all Udoka cares about. So if you're in a 14, 16, 20, keep Jabari Smith. If you're in a 10, definitely send him to waivers. If you're in a 12, you're probably still going to send him to waivers, Doc. I'm over it. I'm kind of over it here. The ascension of Eason and Amen, they're a real buzzkill here. And so I think it's time to set Jabari Smith adrift.
Yeah, I'm with you. Bye.
Bye.
And also,
love you. Bye.
I don't know how long it's going to be before Dylan Brooks and Jabari Smith are actually cut out of this picture. Now, maybe Udoka wants to keep Eason and Thompson coming off the bench. But if he's open to them starting, dude, can you imagine a starting lineup of Jalen Green, Fred VanVleet, Alpi Şengün, Amen, and then Tari Eason all playing well together? Like, I don't know who's going to beat that team. They play D, bro.
I know. Norman Powell, Doc, just hit a dagger. They're up 10, 2:28 to go. Norman Powell could have gone like this, Doc. He just hit a ball over a shot over Lindy Waters. They got a little highlight rip right here. Corner 3 ball, and then little runner here over Buddy Hield. He could have gone like this after that last shot. He could have done the night celebration to Steph. Somebody at some point's got to do the night celly to Steph, don't they?
I think these guys probably like, no, that's Steph's thing. But they need to figure out a new one to do.
Bro, it's not like you're stealing it genuinely. You would be mocking him because you're beating him. Like, I think that would be the height of petty. If that was the game over dagger and you hit Steph with the night, with him on the court, you're playing against Steph. I think that would be dope, dude. I would love that.
I think he might have done it if there were like 40 seconds left, but there's 2.5 minutes and they're only up 10. We've seen crazy shit happen in 2.5 minutes.
Good point, dude.
Between T-Mac and Reggie and
right. Right.
Like he didn't want to be that Utah football coach. They got Gatorade poured on him and they lost the game.
Oh, amen, brother. Amen. All right, huge possession here for Golden State. They're down 10, 2:20 to go. Wiggins turnaround, knocked out of bounds by Harden. Harden put the D in his name. Wow. Let's look ahead to Tuesday here a little bit, Doc. Cleveland at Boston. A showdown in the NBA Cup. Showdown. You have Cleveland coming in at 15-0. at Boston, the defending champs. This is one of the biggest regular season games of the year. So Doc, I got some thoughts on this, but as we look ahead here at Cleveland and Boston a little bit, what's on your mind and what strikes you?
I mean, just how cool it's going to be to watch that game on a funky court with a cup on the line. And the Cavaliers do not want this streak to end. Like, I think they'll be relieved when it does, but they don't want it to happen. And, the Celtics are vulnerable. They've lost 3 games. I think one of those losses was to the Hawks at home. That's a bad loss. So they're beatable. They're gettable. I think TNT is probably going to have a huge audience for that game.
I agree. Doc, you were right. It's a 5-0 run here by Golden State. Steph just hit a layup, and I looked over at the bench, and Jeff Van Gundy's their defensive coordinator, and he's like screamed in anger at that last straight line drive by Steph Curry. He went like on the bench. He was pissed. It's cool to see Jeff Van Gundy. I know how losing. By the way, what a stupid decision by ESPN ABC. Did you understand breaking up Breen Jackson and Van Gundy? Did you like that crew?
Yes. I like
Me
that
too.
Crew.
Like,
I like that crew. I did not understand it.
That was some dumbassery by a network, in my opinion. If it's not working, bust it up, right? Like, look, when Tony Kornheiser went on Monday Night Football, okay, and we all love Tony Kornheiser. He's great. Pardon the interruption, great sports writer, great opinion guy. It didn't fit on Monday Night Football. He went on soliloquies during the game. It's like, no, bro, this is about the game. Okay, didn't fit. Sean McDonough, Monday Night Football. He's just not like, doesn't have the presence for Monday Night Football. He's one of their top announcers. He's number 1 for the NHL. He's like number 2 for college football. He's a complete badass. But Monday Night Football, it wasn't a fit. Guess what? Sean McDonough, I think, lasted 1 year. Okay, that's a different stage. And so anyway, little random thought bubble there on.
All I'm going to say is I love ESPN and I miss Van Gundy. But also, you forgot Dennis Miller.
Dennis Miller, I enjoyed because it was so weird, but it didn't fit and it didn't last very long. Right? Remember, he'd always hit you with these like weird, that's as strange as a 1765 Revolutionary War fighter. Like, bro, what the hell are you talking about? Right? But it's kind of funny. Dennis Miller, I like this comedy. I don't know about you. He's very quirky guy.
I like Dennis Miller. He just was weird. It's a weird fit on a Monday Night Football.
It was weird. They get experimental from time to time. But right now they have the GOATs. Okay. Like Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are probably my favorite football crew of all time. Like more than Madden Summerall, more than Frank Gifford, Don Meredith, and Howard Cosell, and all those old school guys. Like I freaking love Buck and Aikman.
I'm a big Al Michaels guy.
I used to be. The bass is gone in its voice. And now on big plays, it's just kind of monotone and he can't hit the high note anymore. So I used to be a big Al Michaels fan, and God bless him. He's an aged man now, but he just doesn't have the pipes. And so I'm not feeling that. Look, it went out on Marv Albert. It went out on Vern Lundquist. Okay. You can't do this forever. There's an expiration date on doing this. And I think Al Michaels' expiration date has already passed. I do. I've got provocative opinions and at times unpopular opinions. And I own them. All right. So Doc, Cleveland, are they going to go to 16-0? I have a feeling the streak ends tomorrow. I just do. But I like Cleveland plus 5.5 tomorrow, Doc. I don't think that point spread should be that high. I think it should be Boston by 2.5 or 3. It's 5.5. I'll take the 5.5. I will. Oh my God, dude. Steph Curry just got a steal. They're down 3. He's in the front court. Kick out. Lindy Waters, Draymond Green, back to Steph. Fadeaway 3. Oh, it's off the heel. Tapped and saved by Wiggins to Green. Oh, is Steph going to get another one off? Don't let Lindy Waters shoot. Gary Payton at second miss, and the game is over. Doc, the Clippers won 102-99. Golden State had some chances right there. Dude, from the left wing, Steph had a chance to pull with a man in his face, okay? Just like the shot in the Olympics when he had two dudes on him, but he skipped it over to the other side, and it led to trouble, man. Steph needed to take that shot, bro.
Well, the shot before that was a brick, so maybe he wasn't feeling it. I don't know.
Here it was right here. He had coffee on me. He could have rose and shot that ball. Look, like, who cares, right? He's the greatest shooter of all time. But you got to.
He knows. Look at him laughing. He knows.
Yeah, he's like, he knows.
Why the hell did I just throw the ball to Gary Payton at the buzzer?
Ooh, his first shot was online, just a little bit long.
It just climbed.
I'm just saying, man. Like, right, dude, he totally could have pulled in. He totally could have pulled up with that shot because he had Amir Coffey sidecar to the left after a little move. Definitely could have gotten that shot up, bro. The Clippers, man. Hey, there's my guy Dennis Scott. With Norman Powell. 3D with Norman Powell, baby. That's an awesome win by the Los Angeles Clippers right there, Doc. So let's talk about this in some detail. And all the games are final now. This was the last one. Clippers get the win. They move now to 8-7. Golden State only their third loss of the year. They're 10-3 even after the loss. The great news here is that Norman Powell left with a hamstring injury and came back. How often does that happen? James Harden shot the ball like crap, but 12 and 16 with 6 boards, 2 blocks, two steals. James Harden is such a fantasy stud, dude. He is such, my God, is he a great fantasy player. And then for the Golden State Warriors here, Doc, Steph Curry solid, 26, 7, and 6, had 6 threes in the game. And then as we're accustomed, really, it's a fantasy wasteland outside of that because they have too many freaking guys. Look at these minutes, Doc. 32, 28, 20, 29, 32, 19, 13, 23, 12, 16, 18. Podziemski scored 1 point in 18 minutes, making him one of the great fantasy disasters of this season. Look, in reality, this rotation is working, Doc. It really, really is. But in fantasy, this rotation sucks, man.
It's terrible. It's terrible for fantasy, dude. Buddy Hield, 23 minutes, 8 points. Jonathan Kuminga, 19 minutes. Love him or hate him. That is uncalled for, Steve Kerr. And then Lindy Waters is starting and playing 28 minutes. Are you effing kidding me? What is going on?
And they're winning. That's what sucks.
And they're killing people.
Like, we're not Warriors fans. I don't care. I'm neutral on the Warriors, right? But they're winning.
It's a fantasy disaster.
So you can't really crush Kerr because they're winning.
A fantasy disaster.
Like, think about it. Monty Williams last year, his rotations were the worst in the NBA up in Detroit, right? The Jaden Ivey thing. Osar Thompson, like just completely clueless with his rotation. And he was losing. Okay. So now you really look dumb. But Steve Kerr, he's one of the leading candidates for coach of the year this year. Okay. With this, I guess this it takes a village mentality that they have. Anyway, it sucks for fantasy basketball. But shout out to the Clippers for getting that win. And they're over 500, 15 games in. I didn't see that happening. Ty Lue, my goodness, can he coach? He's absolutely awesome. All right, Doc. OKC in San Antonio. And this is the Buzzkill Bowl because we will not have Chet and Wemby. We won't have Chet for sure. And we're not going to have Wemby either. He's doubtful with a right knee contusion here. Sat out Saturday as well. So this is probably going to be the second straight DNP for Victor Wembanyama. It'll be the SGA and J-Dub show. And, I spin the bottle on the San Antonio Spurs. It could be a Vassell night. It could be a Keldon Johnson night. Stephon Castle's going to do his thing to a decent degree. But that's all I got, dude. I don't really have much breakdown on this game. You don't have the heavy hitters for San Antonio. You've got one dude out for Oklahoma City. So I don't know. I'm going to watch the game, Doc, but Wemby's out. So I'm pretty sour on this one.
I have a rule. since last year's 30 deep when I had a Zach Collins on my team. If Wemby's not playing, Zach Collins is in my lineup every time. It's automatic. He's money. He'll have 20 and 10 tomorrow. He'll hit a couple threes. Just write it down. It's good as gold.
Is it to the level of always start Bobby Portis when Giannis is out? Is it to that degree?
Zach Collins is not going to give you a monster line like Bobby Portis can. Bobby
Okay.
Portis is capable of going nuts. Zach Collins cannot go nuts, but he can go 18 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks, 2 threes, a steal, couple assists. And he always gets tons of minutes whenever Wemby's out. Just play him.
I hope Nikola Jokic comes back tomorrow. He's missed a couple of games with the personal reasons. It's Denver at Memphis. Dario
He had a
Saric.
kid. He had a kid.
Well, good for him, man.
Significant other had a kid.
Yeah,
So,
he
yeah.
can't have a kid. You know, I don't. You know, he's a dude. They can't have kids. At least that's what.
He's
Never
chilling at home with his
Never
baby.
mind.
He'll be back tomorrow.
A political joke right at the end of my. I'm so glad I didn't go there, though. I'm so glad. Put the cork in the bottle.
Now we're gonna get fired.
I didn't say anything. I put the cork in the bottle. I didn't say anything. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage you guys to follow our podcast here. Okay, if you enjoy this show, you want to support us. The best way to do that is by subscribing to the podcast. Please leave a 5-star review. It's always very, very helpful. And make sure you download and listen to all of our episodes, including some that don't happen live. Okay. So, Doc, we are going to say bye-bye on the podcast here. We're going to hang around and answer some questions here in just a little bit. But any other parting words for the people here before we get into all of that?
I need Indiana to play well against Ohio State on Saturday. I don't necessarily need them to win. They just need to play well enough so that the committee doesn't shoot the Colorado Buffaloes in there over my Hoosiers, even though I'm a Deion guy and I'm also a Colorado supporter. Indiana needs to be in the playoff.
But why wouldn't I mean, Indiana's undefeated coming into this game. Colorado's having a kick-ass year. You know, I'm a big college football guy. Why wouldn't both of them make the 12-team college football playoff? Like I look at both of those teams as is Indiana getting no love in the rankings? Is that what song and dance you're going to tell me right now?
Fifth. They're fifth, but they have not played. I believe they have not played a top 25 team all year.
I believe that.
You know, they beat Michigan at Indiana. Michigan's not supposed to be ranked like 60th when they play. They played some teams that are traditionally okay, but they all suck this year. That's not Indiana's fault.
No, it's
Cincinnati's
not.
doing an incredible job. And it's not his fault that they got a crappy schedule because they were supposed to suck. They're undefeated, people.
And they've got Ohio State this weekend. It's going to be a great game. I'm very much looking forward to that one. So for Steve Alexander, for our awesome producer, Andre Lemouche, I am Rick Kamla. Thank you so much for watching Fantasy NBA today, Ethos After Dark. Again, we're going to be hanging around here to answer some questions, help you out with your fantasy questions, whether it's from Discord, whether it's from watching us here. And so we'll get to that here in just a second. But one last take. Today's episode was proudly presented by Bet Online. We'll see y'all soon.
Andre, are you awake?
Oh, he said you can start the questions. Okay.
Oh, we're just going to let it keep rolling. Okay. Sweet.
Okay. I think he'll cut that up. Okay. All right. It is Rick Kamla. It is Steve Alexander, FSW Hall of Famer, AKA Dr. A, Fantasy NBA Today, Ethos After Dark. And now a little Q&A with the people. We love hanging out with you guys. We love the fact that you are hanging out late night with us. If you're on the West Coast, it's not late night. It's like prime time. But if you're in the East Coast time zone, we really appreciate you at 1:03 a.m., especially those that have to get up and commute to work in the morning. All right. Cal asks, is Keon Ellis a real pickup, or was it just because DeRozan and Sabonis were out? And I will add to Cal's question, Monk out as well. So 3 of their heavy hitters out of the lineup here. Is Keon Ellis, and we know that, Doc, Aaron Brewski is always watching, lurking, listening. And we're talking about his boy Keon Ellis. But is Keon Ellis a real pickup, Dr. A?
I've said this before. When guys that I hang out with and respect talk trash about players, I listen. And Brewski's gotten in my head about Keon Ellis. And Brewski's like, he may not do much early, but by, the middle of the season, maybe, January 1st, he's going to be a big part of what they're doing. And he changes the game when he's on the floor. And yes, it's impossible to tell if Keon Ellis gained some traction tonight because there was no DeRozan, no Sabonis. So you just don't know. But, it depends on who you're cutting for. I'm all for picking up Keon Ellis and seeing what happens.
I am not. I'm not feeling it. On the year, he's averaging Aaron Brewski, earmuffs. I'm not feeling it. I don't think he's a real pickup. I think he had a out-of-body experience. I think what we saw tonight is the best game he will have all year. Ooh. And he's averaging 5 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. 5, 2, and 1. Come on. He is at 1.2 steals, 0.8 blocks. We know he's a defensive-minded guy. Those are pretty good defensive goodies when you're at 2 stocks per game in 21 minutes per game. He's at 0.83 balls per game, okay? No. Nope. And you look at the previous games, Doc. And by the way, I read before we came on here, DeRozan is turning the corner towards a return. Monk is turning the corner towards a return. Sabonis has the back, and I didn't read as optimistic of stuff about that. DeRozan and Monk may come back for their next game, all right? And then what happens? But look at Keon Ellis. Just in the 5 previous games to this. Points, 0, 3, 9, 3, 6. Whoa, where do I vomit? Assists, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, okay? And in the last 5 games, he has, let's see, that's 4, that's 6, that's 8 stocks. He has 8 stocks over the last 5 games. Big deal. He has 4 threes over the last 5 games. So tonight was an anomaly, and I've said enough. I don't think he's a real pickup.
I don't need to look at his game log. I can tell you right now, he's had 1 decent game and 1 really good game. All the others have been garbage, especially in fantasy, they've just been garbage. But I do think there's a place for him on this team. He's part of the rotation, and I could see his role growing as the season progresses. I don't consider him a hot pickup, but if you want to pick up Keon Ellis and you've got somebody to cut, and Keon Ellis looks like the best option you've got, do it.
Bub Carrington's probably on waivers in your league, okay? So let's just go there. Let's go pick. Doc, tell him about Bub.
Pick up Bub.
Tell him about Bub. I love his name too.
Good. 18
he's like he's like the 30-year head coach at Florida, right? Bub Carrington. You know what I mean? Little old Bub Carrington, old ball coach Bub Carrington. Anyway, I'm getting a little nutty here at 1:07 a.m. All right. Why don't you figure it out? Good handle. Says Filipowski or Jabari Smith Really? Can I choose neither? Like he says, 12-team category. Who would you keep? I'm keeping Jabari Smith if it's him or Filipowski. But I don't really want either of them on my team.
I need to know who else is available on waivers. At this point,
so how about Batadze? Batadze might be available for him. Wouldn't you rather have Batadze than these two guys?
I would, but I'd also rather have Filipowski than Jabari Smith right now.
Wow. Bro, do you understand how dramatic a statement that is by you right now? Dude, Jabari Smith was a sleeper, right? People were kind of high on him, Doc. I mean, I wasn't high on him, but he fell in drafts. You know, he's a young guy, highly drafted. He does have some talent. So, like, I messed around with Jabari Smith in some drafts this year. I didn't reach for him. I didn't overdraft him, but I took him in a few. Guess what? He's already been sent back to waivers, man. But we right here are talking about Kyle Filipowski being more rosterable than Jabari Smith right now. Like, just think about it. That's madness. That is absolute insanity. I don't disagree with you. Like I said, I'm punting them both, and I'm going to get Gogo Batadze.
The rankings say it's Jabari Smith for the season. Mm-hmm. But I think I didn't run it for the last 2 weeks. For the past 2 weeks, Jabari's round 15, which is horrendous. And Filipowski is round 22. Keep whoever has the most games next week.
Or go get Goga. Just go get Goga Batadze. Let's see here. Bunte Killa says, is Alex Caruso a stash in a 12-team 9-cat head-to-head? Alex Caruso is waiver wire
fodder.
I'll just leave it at that. It's been time to cut Alex Caruso.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's going to play a massive role for that team when the games really start to matter.
I don't know.
Right now, in fantasy land,
I don't know.
He's non-existent, dude.
Like, I don't get it, dude.
They don't need him. They don't care. Like, we got Jalen. We got Kaysen. Like, we don't need this guy. And just like they don't need Chet, apparently. Like, they're good, man. Jalen Williams might be the most underrated player in the entire NBA.
He's not, because of how highly you rate him. I mean, you're putting him over Scottie freaking Pippen, bro. So there's no way he could be underrated.
Anyway.
I love busting this dude's balls, man. It is Rick Kamla. It is Steve Alexander, a.k.a. Dr. A. He's an FSWA Hall of Famer. We are Fantasy NBA Today. Ethos After Dark. Yes, Bunte Killa, send Caruso to waivers. Joseph Kim says Bub Carrington, done, or D'Lo, 12-team 9-cat. You go first, Doc.
That's Bub Carrington.
Bub. I don't even know if we need to belabor the point right there. That one is that's Bub all the way. Joe Juice asks, is Josh Green a pickup? Points league. Thanks, guys. Doc, tell him.
Josh Green, not Jalen Green.
Are you thumbs up on Josh Green? I can't believe we're getting a Josh Green question right now, honestly.
I haven't been paying much, shockingly, I haven't been paying much attention to Josh Green. I'm going to go with no.
Bro, you're not locked on every Charlotte Bobcat broadcast? Are you serious? Why are you fading? Why are you fading the Bobcats, dude?
Did he do something crazy tonight? Let's have a look.
Charlotte didn't play tonight, to the best of my knowledge.
Oh yeah, good call. What about yesterday? Let's see.
They did. I think he had I think he started and had like a cruddy stat line, like we're used to. You can look it up.
6 of 8, 2 threes, 15 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, a steal, 29 minutes. What's the question exactly? Josh Green and pickup.
Pickup in a points league.
if that's the best thing on your waiver wire, good luck, man. I, as long as he keeps starting, I guess he's fine. But Miles Bridges is back. LaMelo's playing. Grant Williams, Brandon Miller. I just don't see it, especially points league.
I say thumbs down. Daniel Pecelli, and we've seen Daniel in here before. Would you drop Herder, Dunn, or Pat Will for the Time Lord? I definitely would not drop Herder with all the injuries in Sacramento right now. And frankly, he was putting up some pretty goody lines, even when the guys were healthy. I'm assuming that's Chris Dunn of the Clippers. Look, I'm not a Patrick Williams guy. So I'd probably keep Dunn. He's a good assist, steal, and a little bit of a 3 guy. I think Patrick Williams, Doc, I thought it was one of the worst contracts of the offseason. 5 years and $90 million for Patrick Williams. What are they thinking in Chicago? Was there I don't know, like is there something in the water that is diluted and poisoned these people? Like, what is going on here, dude? So I say drop Pat Will. Doc, how about you?
Well, Chris Dunn has got 19 minutes in 2 of his last 3 games. I mean, he scored in double figures in 3 straight games. He's starting for the Clippers. He only had 7 tonight. No other real stats to count. And Pat Williams, until I got on board with him about 2 games ago, was playing well. And since then, the last two games, he's been terrible. But I don't think that's going to last. So I'm going to say drop Chris Dunn. I didn't understand the Chris Dunn hype to begin with. But, man, the second Coffee or Norman Powell or somebody in LA goes down, then it's going to be, it's going to be his Chris Dunn's time.
I'm looking at Pat Will for the season, 10-5, 2 assists, the typical, right around 2 stocks per game. He's at 1.93 balls. Y'all knock yourselves out, man. I'm over the Patrick Williams thing. I mean, it's like waiting on it. It's the same thing every year. It's 10-5 and 2. It's a little bit of D. It's 1.5 to 2 threes. I'm good. Totally good. Hassan Mahmoud says trade Harden for Fred and Dyson. For Fred VanVleet and Dyson Daniels, trade James Harden. Ooh. I say yes, Doc, because you're getting 2 studs, right? You're giving up a heavy hitter in James Harden. You're getting 2 studs. I still consider Fred VanVleet a stud, especially the way he's played over the last week or 2. Like, Fred VanVleet's back to being Fred VanVleet, right? Dyson Daniels is like the story of the fantasy basketball season, and there's no end in sight to that. It doesn't matter that Hunter's back and Bogey is back and all these guys. Buffkin was available to play tonight. It doesn't matter. Dyson Daniels is a thing. Dominique Wilkins right now, Doc, Hawks announcer, is calling him the best perimeter defender in the NBA. Okay? Like, the Dyson Daniels swell is real, and I don't think it's going away. Will he average 6 steals a game for the season? No, he will not. Okay, that number is going to correct. But he could average 2.9 steals, right? Like, that wouldn't shock me. But 2.9 steals is madness. It's absolute madness. I mean, dudes lead the league at 2 steals per game. So I say do that trade. I say do it.
As James Harden is the guy that's leading the charge in my most important to me team, which is 30 deep. Like, that's my first round pick. That's my guy. He's shooting 38% on the season. He is turning the ball over 4.5 times per game. But he's also putting up ridiculous numbers everywhere else. He's the most valuable, inefficient player in the league. Like, he's completely intolerable when it comes to like the turnovers and the field goal percentage, because he's just chucking, and it's bad every night. but he's flirting with triple-double every night. He's putting up all the counting stats you could want. He's playing every day. He wants to play. He wants to make the Clippers good. But because of that field goal percentage and those turnovers, which I don't think that's really changing anytime soon, I'd rather have Dyson and Fred.
All right, so really good question right there. And Hassan, go make that trade, man. All right, Doc, last question. Again, it's Daniel Pacelli. He says, is Jonathan Isaac for real? You go first on this one.
I was not prepared for the Jonathan Isaac question, but I can tell you that I haven't seen anything about him that makes me think I need to run out and pick him up. So tonight he had 7 points, 3 boards, a steal, and 3 blocks in 20 minutes. I just don't know where the minutes are going to come from. I don't trust him to stay healthy. And I haven't seen him put up a stat line yet this entire season that makes me think, man, I might want to go pick that guy up.
Pardon me, Doc. Not real. Not real. He is not a pickup to me. They are very cautious with Jonathan Isaac. I'm not sure they'll ever take the kid gloves off of him and play him 30, 31, 32, 33 minutes. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, given all the games missed, given all the injuries. Here's like coming into tonight, here are the stat lines: 11 and 9, 1 and 1. Okay. 8, 11 and 1 with 3 blocks. 7, 4 and 1, 1 block, 2 steals. 5, 3, 0. Like these numbers are like, okay, I'm looking at you on waivers. I'm kicking the tires on you. I'm considering you, and I'm going with somebody else, right? Because I just don't trust it. I don't trust that he's even going to play. Like that there's not going to be some late scratch. Oh my God, I thought Jonathan Isaac was going to give me 10 and 10 with a block and a steal and a 3, and he doesn't play because he's Jonathan Isaac and he's just Jonathan Isaac. So I say no. Leave him on waivers. There's got to be something better out there. Like we talked about earlier in the show, go get Tari Eason, who's 50% rostered in Yahoo leagues. Okay. It's not even like go get Tari Eason. If that's what we're talking about here with your boy, Jonathan Isaac, go get Tari Eason. Because if you're thinking about Jonathan Isaac, go get yourself some Eason. Hey, I want to remind you guys to go subscribe and listen to Fantasy NBA today. And subscribe to us, man, and give us a great rating. And we really appreciate you all. Doc, any parting words? When are you and Brew on? You guys on at 12:30 tomorrow?
Wednesday afternoon, 12:30 Eastern.
Wednesday at 12:30 Eastern. It'll be a couple of goats, Steve Alexander and Aaron Brewski. So, guys and girls, we really, really appreciate you staying up late and watching this beautiful podcast with us. All of your questions rock. Keep kicking butt and taking names in fantasy basketball leagues. For Dr. A, for our great producer, Andre Lemouche, I am Rick Kamla. This gig right here, Fantasy NBA Today, Ethos After Dark, presented by Bet Online. We'll see you soon.